Hare Krishna, everybody. All of you will be wondering, last week we bid a farewell and my God, she's back. Is that the feeling? So I am back because of two things. One is, your level 3 classes will start from 7th of May, right? So till 7th of May, we have one more. Tomorrow we will not have, but next week I just thought there are few things sometimes we feel is unfinished, right? So I wanted to share a couple of things with you all. One is I thought I'll share what are all the books you all can read from Veda-based. So I will take you through Veda-based. Also, what I was thinking is there is a lovely course called the Bridge Course, which we give to the teenagers, and you all don't have a chance to go through this Bridge Course. So I thought it's called Science and Spirituality. And since you all are in level 2 to 3, right? So it will make a lot of value if I can take you all through, because this is a session which I have done even for college students, corporates and all, and they really enjoyed. Why I wanted to pitch in this is because the moment you are entering into level 3, it means that you should start teaching. So when I say teaching, I don't mean that you must teach 100 students or 50 students. Even teaching one person is teaching. So your path should be like, whomever you meet, can you convey a message, right? So in that process, what I thought is we'll meet mixed people. Now with Bhagavad-Gita experience, you will know that a lot of people will not necessarily be in mode of goodness. We'll come across mode of passion and ignorance. So what's very important is how do we handle them? How do we take them to the next level? Right. So with that, I just thought I will give you an introduction of science and spirituality. That is one. Plus, I also would like to know if there is any other agenda you all have. You all want to ask any questions which are pending. So I will start off with Mangalacharan. So if you all have any questions, you all can type in the chat. Otherwise, after 5 minutes, I will start this presentation. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpati Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpakarupyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Come on, all of you. Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, all of you. Okay, I'll start with some questions so others can also join. So quickly, Mataji, there is absolutely no delay, no nothing called early, late. Sometimes many questions keep coming up after many years too. So none of you all need to apologize to me. You all can ask the questions and I will answer whatever I know. So when only Arjuna, Devatas and Satya heard Bhagavad-Gita, Arjuna, the Bhagavad-Gita was spoken in the battlefield. The battle lasted for 18 days. Bhagavad-Gita was spoken in Sanskrit by Krishna to Arjuna, and it was 45 minutes. The time duration was 45 minutes. So this was in the middle of the battlefield, and we know, right? Senayor Ubayor Madhye. So he goes and keeps the chariot. He drives the chariot and parks the chariot right before Dronacharya and Bhishma. That is when the entire Bhagavad-Gita gets spoken. I mean, he starts speaking about that. So who records it? Okay, this is recorded by Vyasa. How? Vyasa is an incarnation of Krishna, and it's one of the avatars. Remember, I told 6 categories of avatars are there. The category is called Satya Avesha Avatar, wherein he takes a specific role, right? So it's like he manifests for a particular purpose. Example is Narada. He comes as a devotee. Now, like Vyasa, he comes for a specific role, that is for making a note of Vedas. So Vyasa wrote all Vedas, Mahabharata, all the 4 Vedas, right? Yajur Vedas. What are the 4 Vedas? Now I should ask you all. How can I leave my questioning session? What are the 4 Vedas? Manasvi, you know?
Big sound.
Yes, Mataji. Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda, and Athar Veda.
My God, Hare Krishna, Hari
And
Bol, I didn't know.
Mataji,
Yes.
I'm learning Yajur Veda. I am learning Yajur Veda.
Ah, so how are you learning Yajur Veda?
Online, Mataji.
Oh, very nice. All the best, Hare Krishna. After you learn, you teach me, okay?
Thank you
Okay.
so much, Mataji.
Welcome, Hare Krishna. So basically, this is the concept. So, and Sanjaya was given Divya Drishti because first the offer was given to Dhritarashtra because he's blind, but Dhritarashtra refuses it, and therefore Sanjaya had to accept because he's a secretary. Also, the very important thing is he's Vyasa's student. So Sanjaya gets to see the whole thing, and he narrates. And obviously, what is seen by Sanjaya is seen by Vyasa also, because he's also carrying special powers. Hare Krishna. Saraswati Radhika Mataji, you're not able to edit the certificate. How to fill? Okay, which certificate you're not able to? Okay, there are a couple of doubts which are coming to me back and forth that you're not able to do the first level 1 certificate. No problem. Level 1 certificate, if you don't have, it's fine. You should have level 2 certificate. So if you're having a challenge in level 2 certificate, I would request you all to write to Nandita Mataji, because level 2 certificate should not be.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Radhika ma'am.
Yes.
They have been given email ID, ISKCON and
okay, thank you so much.
They have to write there because I'm not a
thank you
part
so much.
of
Sorry.
the tech team.
Sure. Can you also share the email ID in the group, in this chat of Zoom?
Sure. I'll do that.
So that, yeah. Thank you so much, Nandita. One more thing is briefly about each Prabhupada's book. Sure, I'll do that. I would love to do that. So let me just take you all through the Veda base. It stops. Okay. So, okay. Oh, you can't see the screen. So what you do is you go to Google and you can type. I've typed vedabase.in. The link is already there in the settings. So you have all these books which are free of cost. You can't download, but you can read. So the first book is Bhagavad-Gita. So all of us know what Bhagavad-Gita is. It has 700 verses. The second book is Srimad Bhagavatam. You go click on that. Can you see the screen? You can see, right? So the Bhagavatam has 12 cantos and totally 18 books. My only suggestion is, by now you should have started reading Bhagavatam. If you haven't, please read Bhagavatam, because if you do not read Bhagavatam, trust me, you're really missing something in life. I hate to read books. I will never read books. The only books I read is my study books or management books, which are absolutely important. I don't even read newspaper. So for me, I can't resist Bhagavatam. So you can imagine for a book reader how they will be attached. This is amazing. This is about the pastimes of the devotees and their bhakti towards Krishna. It talks about everything. It talks about love story. It talks about rich. It talks about poor. It talks about how a very big king with all opulences could do bhakti, who had no need, right? Many times we relate bhakti means, oh my Krishna, I have a problem and therefore I'm doing bhakti. But Bhagavatam has stories of people who don't need anything. Still they do bhakti, right? The third chapter is my favorite, which is Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is got 3 parts. One is Adi Leela, Madhya Leela and Antya Leela. So the 3 Leelas talk about journey of Chaitanya, right? So typically from the time he was born, 500 years, till the time he left the place, which is 48 years. Who's Chaitanya? Chaitanya is none other than Krishna himself. So I was talking to you all about expansions and avatars. this one area which I left. So Chaitanya is none other than Krishna himself. So he is directly Krishna as it is, right? So this is a book which, if you want dreams of God, Prabhupada says this. So you have to read this book. So this one has, this is called Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this has lovely stories, 90 chapters, I think 30 in Madura, 30 in Vrindavan, approximately I'm saying, and 30 in Dwaraka. So it's like all split. So these are all lovely pastimes of Krishna. Primarily, this one is the Canto 10 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So Science of Self-Realization is supposed to be a book which you should start reading parallel. It's supposed to be the first set of books. And this book talks a lot about, okay, I'm going to take you through the presentation of science and spirituality. So you know the connecting dots. And Srila Prabhupada talks again of 3 levels, right? You have volume 1 and volume 2. It's a set of 7 books, but I think it's condensed here. It's called Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita. We will really get to know how and what are the hardships he had. Did you all understand? So if you understand, I can go to the next row, or I can stop here and we will meet again next week. I can continue the rest, because if I'm going to give you everything, it will be over. What you're going to do in level 3 is the 3 books, which is 1 Isha Upanishad. Can you see here? Yeah, Nectar of Instruction, right? And the Nectar of Devotion, which is this book. These are the 3 books which will be taught in the level 3. And that will be taken, who will be the teacher? It will be, I think 7 p.m. if I'm right, Saturday, Sunday. It will be Sri Lakshmi. I will invite Sri Lakshmi next week. In fact, I should call her today, but otherwise I'll invite her next week so that you can have your doubts clarified. We will not touch these topics because she's anyways going to take it. So this is what is primarily the ones. Wow. So very beautiful. Okay, whoever wants to repeat level 2. Nandita, Hare Krishna. Nandita,
Yes, ma'am.
Specific process for level 2 repetition.
We've given them the list of requirements. The same is mentioned in the Google form, which they have to fill and attach their certificates. And whoever qualifies will be sent a WhatsApp.
They're talking about level 2, repeating level 2.
Oh, repeating level 2, they're free to.
Yeah.
There's no registration form or anything as of now, ma'am.
Okay, now one more question. Are you going to take level 2? I don't know. I'm not sure. Am I going to take level 3? No, not in English. I will not be taking level 3 right now in English. It will be Sri Lakshmi Mataji. It's always best you have 2 teachers for different levels so that you taste something different. So Sri Lakshmi is very, what should I say? She's very knowledgeable. And I can assure you that you thoroughly enjoy her classes, and she can take, and it's totally new topics, right? Isha Upanishad and Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion. So you'll get a new breeze, but you know me, I will always come. So I am like a backup. So if any teacher needs a backup, the number, I'm like a hotline. So somewhere or the other, you can be rest assured that I will come, at any time, I will poke my head and I will be there. So you can, Hare Krishna. I've registered for level 3, but I didn't receive any confirmation because we have not yet officially floated. The confirmation is what because we are announcing. That's why I'm here to tell you all that don't worry. We will have this announcement and we will be doing this. So all your sadhana chart, all your attendance, and all your quizzes are taken care of. You have uploaded the file, automatically your name will be called. This will be on the 7th of May, and we will meet once more next Saturday or Sunday. I'll come. Yeah, Nandita will send you a message. One of the days we will meet. In fact, I wanted to meet all of you all on 3rd also, because 3rd is a very auspicious day, Akshay Tridi. So we'll try and see if we can do one more session on the 3rd. So if you all permit me, can I try and take you all through science and spirituality? Can we start? Yes, no, or you want anything else to discuss? I'm totally open. So you all can decide, do you want me to take you all through that, or do you have...
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
I have a doubt, Mataji. Sorry.
Yes.
No. Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I'm very much interested in joining level 3. Thanks to the courtesy of Kirti Mataji and Nandita Mataji, who were our almost co-hosts and leaders, Mataji. But my issue is that I don't have level 1 certificate. Mataji.
That's okay, Mataji. Thank you so much for bringing this up. Level 1 certificate, if you do not have, please kindly do it. If you do not have a level 1 certificate, that's fine. Please upload your level 2 certificate and you have to, okay, the condition for your level 3, many are asking, you should not be a non-vegetarian. So basically you should be a vegetarian. So you should be, I think I'll change my words. You should have stopped eating non-veg if you're a non-vegetarian. I think I should use that. Otherwise it will confuse you all, right? You will be thinking by birth. So there's nothing by birth. So I would say that you should have got yourself converted into a vegetarian.
Yes, yes.
So if this makes it clearer.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, I also have a question.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, yes, ma'am.
I want to ask something, Mataji. I completed my second level. Quiz also I have completed. But certificate, I'm not able to download this level 2 certificate.
I think Nandita has just sent you a message in the chat. If you have a challenge, anything to do with, certificates, I think she shared an email ID. Even now she said, can you please check the message? WhatsApp, not WhatsApp, chat message also. She says, if you have any issue related to quiz or LMS, please write to iskonantur1@gmail.com. The address in the chat. So if you can just, because if you tell me about problems, it will just go over on. It's better you have it recorded so that you'll be addressed better. Correct. So can I dive into science and spirituality?
Mataji, please repeat the topic for the level 3. Please.
Topics for level 3 will be Isha Upanishad. It's a Upanishad. So, that is one. You already have a flair of that, because I think when I was teaching Bhagavad-Gita, the last module, I have brought in a lot of these verses. But you will systematically learn. Next is nectar of instruction. And the next one is the nectar of devotion.
Mataji, what is the duration of L3?
What is the duration of L3? You tell me how long you want to do L3?
I want to go to L4.
You want to go to L4? You want to do L3 and go to L4, or you want to directly go to L4?
I will do L3 first. Little
okay.
knowledgeable.
So what you do is you ask that Sri Lakshmi Mataji how long she's going to take to complete her L3, okay, when she comes next week. Hare Krishna.
Okay,
if you allow me, can I start with science and spirituality?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna. Thank you so much.
Mataji.
I need few of you all to read. So I need one. I want somebody who can read a little more technical, because some of these terms can get technical. So Manasvi, this can be a little heavy, but still just go with the flow. You will understand. Yes, yes, devotee Vijay Kumar. Yes, Prabhu. Sure. Yeah. So there are few who have raised the hand. So let me just touch upon science and spirituality. This is my favorite topic, and you all can all take it and read. So what is science and what is spirituality, right? So our understanding of science starts with, yes, you can start reading, one of you all.
The two most important days of your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why.
Thank you so much, Mark Twain. And thank you so much, Kirti. Hare Krishna. So do we really need spirituality? I'm sure you all will tell yes, but this is given to you, so you can imagine what answer they will give. So typical answers which they will tell is spirituality, I can do without it. Please see this. These are the answers which you will have objections. So when you're teaching, these are the objections which you have. So this session is not to teach you all, but for you to facilitate teaching somebody else. So that's why I wanted to pick this topic. Now, spirituality is unscientific. My life is too fast for it. Spirituality, where's the fun in it? That's escapism. These are the 90% of the apprehensions or the blockages which you will face. None of you all will have this problem with respect to you all. So I don't have a problem with you all with this, but you all will have a problem the moment you go to teach. So that's why I'm sharing this. Externally visible differences between science and spirituality. You can see, though it appears, right? So you see a special dedicated place for scientists, so is the temple. Medical books or engineering books, you have the pile of books, so is ours. We just saw the Vedas, right? So now you know why I do. So can someone tell me what university is this? Anyone in US here?
Harvard University, man. MIT.
Prabhu, where is Harvard University? Where is Harvard? Hare Krishna. Okay. So I'm not going to... Sure. So now somebody tell me what university is this?
Okay.
Tirupati.
This is Padmanabha Swami.
Not bad. Tirupati. So both are
Tirupati.
universities. Who is this hero?
Mataji,
Who is this?
Mataji, this is
Einstein.
Albert Einstein. Mataji, this is Albert Einstein.
How do you know Albert Einstein? I thought you don't know.
Mataji, I've heard about him a lot.
Amazing. So who's he?
Madhavacharya.
Madhavacharya.
Amazing. How did you know he was Madhavacharya, by the way?
Mataji, in L1 classes, Mataji told about Madhavacharya a lot of times.
Very nice. Who taught you L1?
L1 many Matajis. Mataji.
Oh, sorry. I think many of y'all are not able to unmute. Yeah, you can unmute now. So it's all open. Hare Krishna. So can you see if there is a rocket launch? There is a huge crowd. Okay. And for Ratha Yatra also, there is a huge crowd. And by the way, I just want to tell, hopefully with Krishna's blessings, I will be in Jagannath Puri on Monday. So that's why Monday and Tuesday morning, I can take classes. So I've compensated some of them are here.
Hari Bol.
Thank you so much. So this is the crowd for a launch. This is for Ratha Yatra. It is done worldwide thanks to Prabhupada, where there is huge gathering. Worldwide he is brought in. So what is speciality is Jagannath Puri. In Jagannath, you know, there is restriction, right? If the person is a Muslim, and there are many restrictions for other foreigners, he cannot, or Christians, they cannot enter the temple. So, you know, it's like the doctor, if you're unwell, you go to the doctor. But if you're very, very unwell, the doctor comes to see you. So this is like very, very unwell. So Jagannath himself comes out to see all the devotees. So look at the crowd. Can you see? So the advent of science, Newton discovers the law of motion. You all know all of this. Maxwell theory of electromagnetism. I'm going to go fast. Einstein prostates, Planck prostates, all of this, right? So I just want you all to get a feel of what everyone said. So all of them are great scientists. Sir Isaac Newton, right? So what he knows, mainly all of you all, when you talk about Newton, what comes Newton's third law?
Action and reaction.
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And by the way, gravitation was also found by him. So are you
Gravitation law.
and gravitation came up only after Newton coming? No. It was already there.
Never.
Yeah, so it was there earlier. So what does he say? So Sir Isaac Newton says this. Hare Krishna. Somebody please read. I had so many hands raised.
This most beautiful system of the sun, planets, and comets could only proceed from the counsel and dominion of an intelligent and powerful being.
So he is very clearly telling, I am talking about very high-end scientists. Today, all the teenagers and youngsters feel that, oh my God, scientist is great. Spirituality is too pretty, right? So we'll hear what the scientists are saying. Yes, Kirti Mataji, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
This being governs all things, not as the soul of the world, but as Lord over all. And on account of his dominion, he is to be called Lord God, universal ruler.
Hare Krishna. I know what's running in your mind. Mataji, it's very general. It doesn't talk about Krishna. Okay, fine. Let's wait. Let's hear from others too. So Maxwell did all of this. So I'm not going to get into what is Maxwell electromagnetic radiation theory, because I'm sure a physics person will be here. So we will just read what he says. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Almighty God, who has created man in thine own image and made him a living soul that he might seek after thee and have dominion over thy creatures, teach us to study the works of thy hands, that we may subdue the earth to our use and strengthen the reason for thy service, so to receive thy blessed word, that we may believe on him who thou hast sent to give us the knowledge of salvation and the remission of our sins.
Salvation, mukti, right? So very clearly they have touched upon that, which we believe. Many scientists say that, you know, life ends here. Born out of lust. We've read this, right? Gita. So now scientists, we have a different version. So Albert Einstein, I don't think we need an example of what he did. So he says, there is a perfect brain behind all the natural physical laws. And science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. Right? Mataji, please go ahead. Yes, Kirti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I believe in God who reveals himself in the orderly harmony of the universe. I believe that intelligence is manifested throughout all nature. The basics of scientific work is conviction that the world is an ordered and comprehensible entity and not a thing of chance. When I sit here and watch the mighty ocean, I can imagine the treasures hidden below the bed of the sea. When I see the clear blue sky above, I feel sky is the limit. When I cast my eyes around, I see the wonders and beauties of nature. Science must learn to live in harmony with all these magnificent gifts of God to humanity.
Hare Krishna. So you can, right? So gifts of God, so God, every level. Everyone who's seriously involved in the pursuit of science becomes convinced that a spirit is manifested in the laws of the universe, a spirit vastly superior to that of a man, right? So, this video is in German, but please follow the subtitles. I will anyway play the sound. Please, the video I enjoyed.
Nun werde ich euch beweisen, dass Gott, wenn es ihn gibt, böse ist. Hat Gott alles, was existiert, erschaffen? Wenn Gott alles erschaffen hat, dann hat er auch das Böse geschaffen. Das bedeutet, Gott ist böse.
Herr Professor, existiert Kälte?
Was für eine Frage soll das sein? Natürlich existiert die Kälte. War euch noch nie kalt?
Nein, in der Tat, Herr Professor, die Kälte existiert nicht. Nach den Gesetzen der Physik ist das, was wir als kalt empfinden, nur das Fehlen von Wärme. Und existiert Dunkelheit, Herr Professor?
Selbstverständlich existiert sie.
Nein, sie ist nur das Fehlen von Licht. Wir können das Licht messen, aber die Dunkelheit nicht. Das Böse existiert nicht, genau wie die Kälte und die Dunkelheit. Gott hat das Böse nicht geschaffen. Es ist das Ergebnis dessen, was Gottes Hand noch nicht berührt hat.
Can you see this? It's Einstein. So the beauty is what darkness by itself doesn't exist, right? So what exists is absence of light is darkness. Likewise, evil doesn't exist. Absence of God is only evil. So many times we have this issue telling that the question which comes to me at all levels, 18 days, level 3, even at level 4. What about a person who's very, very good, extremely good, right? Does not believe in God. Yes, he's very good, but the chance of evil entering is very high at any point in time. And even if he is good, it comes from the material good, right? So basically my mind is good, which is subtle body still. But the soul by itself needs Krishna. So the soul communication happens only when you give Krishna to the soul. So someone who is very good at a material platform, which means that in a material platform, anybody, like how he can become rich and he can fall down poor, right? Anytime, a business guy. Likewise, a very good guy can fall off. But if he's in a spiritual platform, if you give Krishna to the soul will protect because the intelligence takes control of the mind. Otherwise, the mind, I told you, right? So the mind, the function of the mind is to do or not to do. Right? It has a choice to do, not to do. The function of the intelligence is very determination. That is why when we are doing, we say that the devotee is intelligent because the function of the intelligence takes over. And the function of the soul is bliss, eternal bliss, right? Soul is always happy. So now we'll go and see Mark Carl's, the speed at which I'm going. I'll finish this session only at 11 o'clock. So this is Planck and he, quantum theory. For religion, God is at the beginning, and for science, God is at the end. But eventually, God is there. So there was this particular spaceship which was going. I'm not getting the name. I'll tell you in a minute. So this was supposed to fall. It was supposed to be destroyed. So everybody inside were praying at that moment because last moment, distress, right? So they were praying, and finally it came fine. I don't remember the moment I get it. I'll tell you. So this was the advent of technology. We know all of this, right? Television, aerospace, computer, internet, cell phones. So this is a boring video. You all know better about the cell phone. We are talking about, this is also another video when we have time. So dark sides of science. One side we saw science is very good. But on the other side, we see the science is also a little dangerous, right? So there is a dark face to it. There are a few videos which I can't play right now because of copyright issue, which I will play at the end of the class. So, we have Stephen Hawking. He says humanity will just last for 100 years. Now, it won't be 100 years, it will be more. But at least what he said is true in terms of year. Now, if you see this combination, this is not the mummy dada. It's not mummy child or daddy child, right? It is basically adopted child, right? So this is a orangutan and adopted mother. So you can see the situation now. Or hard look on modern world, the ecology. So what is ecology? Is environmental super disasters are no longer doomsday. They are all imminent reality. Right? So World Health Organization, what is happening? Violence. Now the violence has increased 7 times and compared to 19th century. Now modern people currently suffer with stress, depression, hypertension, addiction. Right? Suicide is over 1 million. So people commit suicide almost every year. The family, is eventually, in USA and UA, it's like 1 out of 3 land up in a divorce, because of which the juvenile delinquency, all that is coming. What's going wrong? The capacities of science to disturb the universe have far exceeded our capacity to remedy the disturbances, because, which is very true. Freeman has said this, because, which is a fact, right? Many times destruction is easier, but construction is difficult. It applies to not just the environment, it applies even to a small thing, right? The child will take half an hour to build the mud house, but it will take 1 second for us to destroy. So is the building, right? I get a bulldozer, I can get the building, tallest building to the ground in less than half an hour, but to construct it will take years to get it. I will pause the recording, but I just want you all to So it says, like, we live in our age of guided missiles and misguided men. Martin Luther King Jr. That's a fact, right? So level of life, what is happening today physically, right? We have a blessing, which is we have communication, locomotives, comforts, everything. But the problem is we don't even have fresh air to breathe. Psychologically, there's a lot of entertainment, right? Psychiatry, everything is there. Boredom, addiction, suicide, anxiety. Earlier, we never had this TV and other stuff, mobile and all. So today I notice nobody wants to wait. Nobody wants to wait even for a few seconds. So this I noticed when I took my daughter for the passport, managed to go inside, and in fact, nowadays, like passports, they give you a lot of time. And your waiting time is hardly 15 minutes. Even that, she was saying, can we go, have some drink or something? Can we go sit down, or can I go do this? So that 15 minutes, right? They just don't have the patience to wait, because that's become the routine, right? So life is trained that, okay, we don't want to wait. And even if that 2 minutes is there, I'll play in the mobile or I will do something. Level of our life is, economy has increased, industrialization is great, computerization is right, curse is a conjunction. Ecology, thermal, hydraulics, everything we are seeing, but results in global warming. Medically, medicines are there, but very unhealthy lifestyle. We are having various variants of COVID, but we don't know the solution yet. And this is very nice. Yes, Kirti, please go ahead and read Hare Krishna. If anybody wants to read from the screen, also fine.
Shall I read?
Yeah, please. Sure. Go ahead.
Mataji?
Please go ahead.
I used to think, Hare Krishna Mataji, I used to think that top environmental problems were biodiversity loss, ecosystem collapse, and climate change. I thought that 30 years of good science could address these problems. I was wrong. The top environmental problems are selfishness, greed, and apathy. And to deal with these, we need a cultural and spiritual transformation. And we scientists do not know how to do that. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So what is he telling is, he's talking about specifically the environmental issues which we are facing, right? 30 years was good for science to address the problems, but the time is so long that nothing seems to be corrected. So 100 years of puzzle. So this play, I'm not going to play this video. So quantum was not new, but we think it's as new as 1 decade or max 2 decades. Nobody understands. This is the only physics which actually tries to create relationship. How can you, even metaphysics for that matter. So where they can connect relationships are taught here, which I think was not even, is not even taught. I don't think it was taught even 10 years before. So here there is a new way of thinking. It is that this is how we should be doing science. So they're trying to connect. So now science enters spirituality. How? Through quantum consciousness and creation. So just wait, I'll take you all to conscious studies. So let's pay our obeisances to Shri Radha Gopika. So appreciation of Vedas by scientists and Western philosophers. We already did this one round, but this is very important. So now this one talks directly about Bhagavad-Gita. Many of you all said, right? Is Bhagavad-Gita addressed? Yes, it is addressed. And yes, please go ahead on this.
In the morning, I pray my intellect. Sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, please.
In the morning.
In the morning, I bathed my
In the morning,
intellect
I
in the
bathed
stupendous
myself.
philosophy of the Bhagavad-Gita, in comparison with which our modern world and its literature seems puny and trivial. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So he says, I bathed with the intellect of Bhagavad-Gita, and appreciation by the American philosopher.
Whenever I have read any part of the Vedas, I have felt that some unearthly and unknown light illuminated me. In the great teaching of the Vedas, there is no touch of sectarianism. It is of all ages, climes, and nationalities, and is the royal road for the attainment of the great knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, just give me. Yeah, so Hare Krishna. So this is one more thing which I remember about Prabhupada. So he had been to, I think, Iran or something where they were doing namaz, and Prabhupada really enjoyed, and he was also praying. And someone came and told, "Are you not going to talk about Krishna?" He said, "Why are you making me a sectarian? I'm not here to promote anything." And same way, if you see, Prabhupada has never told anyone who's very serious, example, a priest or someone who's very serious, he's never told them to think of Krishna. He only said, you will understand, keep praying, whatever you're doing, stay focused, but follow whatever they're saying to the T. So there is absolutely, so whatever you're talking about, they have said very clearly, there's absolutely no touch of sectarianism, right? So it is, and this even Bhagavad-Gita, if you take 5,000 years back, it was written. And the rules seem to be applying every moment. But if you take any rule, government rule, what we saw 10 years back doesn't even relate, right? So nothing relates. So that's the kind of irony. Keeps changing, right? So we are not even clear. Any one of y'all can take turns. You don't need my permission. As long as you'll read fast, we'll cover more. That's my only idea. So please go ahead. Hare Krishna. Screen is on to you.
In Veda, I encountered deep, original, noble thoughts filled with exalted and sacred devotion. What a wonderful spirit is following through the whole Vedas. How very much everyone who studied these extraordinary books has been hit by the spiritual spark to the depths of his soul. Arthur Schopenhauer, 1788 to 1860, one of the most famous German philosophers and writers of the 19th century. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so remember Vedas, when they are referring, they're directly talking about Vedas written by Vyasa, and it directly talks about luckily India, because this is where Vedas started. So here he says Vedas are the most important metaphysics that the human mind might have conceived. Greatest knowledge of today cannot overcome the intellect and knowledge of the rishis, the sages of the ancient India. And at the most advanced stage, it is closer to so important, whatever we are talking about today, right? We are talking about we are talking about the entire world has 7 continents. It was told earlier. We saw about, the cow dung is auspicious. Usually stool is inauspicious, but cow dung is auspicious, it was told. The Vedas are the greatest privilege of the century. This is spoken. And India has been a teacher of China in trigonometry, quadratic equation, linguistics, phonetics, and so on, right? This is from Chinese scholar. Appreciation of Vedas, you can see, I'm convinced that everything came to us from the banks of Ganges. Astronomy, astrology, physics, and mathematics. Pythagoras theorem, we used to call Pythagoras theorem, when we were small. That's there, right? Greatest gift. Now, Albert Einstein, he says, we owe a lot to the Indians who taught us how to count, without which no worthwhile scientific discovery could be made. When I read Bhagavad-Gita and reflect about how God created this universe, everything else seems superfluous, right? So clearly he is trying to tell. So Gandhi, I think you all should read. Hare Krishna.
When doubts haunt me, when disappointments stare me in the face, and I see not one ray of hope on the horizon, I turn to Bhagavad Gita and find a verse to comfort me, and I immediately begin to smile in the midst of overwhelming sorrow. Those who meditate on the Gita will derive fresh joy and new meanings from it every day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So you can all imagine somebody like Mahatma Gandhi would have gone through all kind of trauma, right? Financially, he studied in Africa, right? South Africa, he was there and he studied. And he was a barrister, right? Law, and practiced so much money, so rich. Otherwise, it was not easy those days. They never had bank loan concepts, right? And only somebody from a very esteemed family will go there. In spite of that, he came here. He never wore blazers or suits, which he was used to. And he, you know, the dress he wore, and you know the kind of traumas he had, but nothing stopped him, right? Let's have few parallel, which is what I was talking about. Cow dung is pure, which US has even taken patent. Bugal means we're talking about Bulu, earth. Plants having life, human embryology. Human embryology, I request each one of you to read the last chapter in the 5th canto. It talks about human embryology. You all saw that video, right? The life, that is from here. So let me again pause the recording and you can see how plants are reacting, which actually we never. So, you know, we are going to bring you back into Srimad Bhagavatam. Some very astonishing predictions which are in Srimad Bhagavatam, which was written 5,000 years back. Does anyone know when did Buddha come? Or can you, I'll start with Chaitanya. Does anyone know Chaitanya, how many years ago he came?
500 years ago, Mataji.
Amazing, amazing. Buddha. Yes, Buddha is an incarnation of Krishna, of course. So how many years did he come? Somebody can guess.
2000 years.
Yes, 2,600 years. That's absolutely right. 2,000 years. That was closest. So Chaitanya, but Bhagavatam was written 5,000 years ago. Predicted 4,500 years later, which means 500 years before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to come. Buddha. Chanakya, all of you know Chanakya, right? He was a political and military warfare. He was excelling in that. Chandragupta Maurya and King Ashoka. So when I take some class, sometimes in a couple of sessions, I think in the youth, they were telling, will my name be there? But are we really so good to have our names in Srimad Bhagavatam? Unfortunately, our names are not there. Chandragupta Maurya and King Ashoka's name is there. So I would request each one of you to please read Srimad Bhagavatam, and I would like to keep the floor open for Nandita Mataji, who is trying to bring in this opportunity to all of you all. Nandita, you want to take over about Srimad Bhagavatam special class?
I just wanted to tell everybody that we have a very nice devotee called Delina Mataji from South Africa, who's starting a group to read Srimad Bhagavatam. She's proposing a particular time and day. I will post the link of the WhatsApp group tomorrow, and all our BVs. Whoever wishes to join can please join. Whoever is sincere about reading it at least for 1 hour a day to a week together can please join that group. All questions can be asked in that group to Delina Mataji as well. Unfortunately, she's not here for the class today. Very sorry, but I'll share the link tomorrow with her permission. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So this is not a teaching class. It's a reading class. So Srimad Bhagavatam is a reading. But I've noticed one thing, that we don't read on our own and we don't have the discipline. For chanting itself is a big deal. So therefore, so I think Nandita has put her hand down to sort of get people, neophytes, new readers who can start from chapter 1. Also, Srimad Bhagavatam in Tamil is offered at 6 a.m. in the morning. In English, Namanishta Das Prabhu teaches at 8:15 and 5:45 a.m. morning for 15 minutes. There's a very short Srimad Bhagavatam class as well. So try and make use of all this. Mistakes which are fundamental is, there are a lot of mistakes in science and what they are. So modern science talks about matter and knowledge. Vedic science talks about matter, knowledge, and talks about soul and supersoul. Now you may wonder what, because just matter and knowledge is not sufficient. There are gaps, right? Consciousness, where does it come from? Various views about reality is now, this is beautiful. Skeptic, only our experiences are real. Many of them tell us, right? We are talking about seeing is believing. So many people believe what I experience is true, what I don't experience is not true. Materialists have a different way. They say that experience is solely matter obeying different laws. So we had laws which are confusing. We had Newton law, which is true. We always thought science, science, there's a constant fight. Science came before or arts came before. While they are fighting, they have something called law of attraction, right? The Book of Secrets. If you go through, it's a very beautiful book. It says that whatever you wish, truly desire happens. How? The how is not answered. So first they said the law of, the commercial laws are higher, arts and science. Later they said science. All this, while they're conflicting, they came and said there's something called law of attraction, which is above this theoretical laws. And now the law is perfect, but who is the sanctioner of the law is left blank. Now Buddhist is very nice. Okay, this has come up. So Buddhists believe in Shunya. Shunya means zero. So Buddha came to tell, this was during then where, they wanted to prove, that is, there was a lot of animal killing. It even went to the extent of human killing. That is, anyone who's dumb could also be killed because he was considered as animal. And examples of Jada Bharata. So Buddha came to put an end to it, and therefore to address the crowd at that point in time. Remember, every philosopher is intelligent to address a specific crowd. So Buddhist came to address a crowd then, telling that please do not kill animals, don't believe in Vedas, forget it. And Buddha is an incarnation of Krishna, right? We are so brilliant. Whoever advises, we will make them God. So we made Buddha himself God, right? He came and told, don't believe in God, and we made Buddha himself God, right? So this is one. Now, Mayavathi philosophy, is talking about many times what is Advaita, what is, Advaita. So Mayavathi philosophy believed in Advaita, one. So merging with Krishna, right? So that is not possible. You can't merge with Krishna. You are separate, and Krishna is always separate. If so powerful as Krishna, then Maya should be, you should control Maya. You should be able to predict. Half an hour later, Nandita Mataji should be able to tell me who's going to knock her door. Will she be able to? No. Then obviously, how can you ever merge with, she will never be able to tell even after 100 years, right? Neither can I. So we can never merge with Krishna. We'll always completely be different identities. So that's the concept which they believe, which is Nirguna. Right? Now, Vaishnava philosophy talks about variety, variegatedness, right? We believe in energy also, where Mayavadis believe only as energy. Vaishnavas believe in energy also. Krishna is the Paramatma also and Supreme Person also, right? And Vaishnava philosophy again has Ramanujacharya philosophy, wherein it's like your Tirupati, you all told, right? So Tirupati, what is the relationship? Why don't you all tell me what is the relationship when you pray, when you go to Venkatesh Perumal, what do you feel like? In Tirupati, how do you pray? How do you pray to Venkatesh Perumal?
Forget what you want to pray actually at Tirupati.
Yeah, true. But what is your relationship? What is your relationship? 5 rasas. Can someone tell me what are the 5 rasas in Goloka now?
Kanta, Dasya, Sakhya,
Madhurya.
Before Madhurya, Vatsalya. Thank you so much. So 5 are there, but predominantly in Vaikuntha 5 don't dominate. Only 2: the neutrality and the servitorship, right? These are the 2 dominant features. So the relationship, you very unlikely, the Tirupati, you're very emotional, no doubt. But will you ever go and hug? You go and look at the feet. You go fall. But Krishna prayers are different. In Jagannath, people go and hug him, right? That's today, of course, due to security reason, COVID, compliance, all that, they've stopped. But you know, the relationship you have with Krishna, you go to a temple, many of them tell, I get so angry with Krishna, and some of them, treat him like a child. So all this are happening. So therefore, the bhava is different. So Ramanujacharya uses the word adiyan, I'm a servitor. But the Madhvacharya, whom we saw, is the sampradaya which we follow. What is the sampradaya which we are following?
Brahma Madhva Sampradaya.
Repeat again, I am not able to hear.
Brahma Madhva Sampradaya.
Yes, someone would like to complete? Perfect, very nice answer. Brahma, Gaudiya, anybody? Somebody?
Madhva
Sampradaya, very nice, thank you so much. So that's a sampradaya we are following. And still advanced is Chaitanya, where he believed in Achinta Beda Abeda. That is oneness and different. How Rama is one and the same as that of Krishna, but at the same time it's different also, right? So that's the concept. Just to give you a simple understanding of my understanding, I just thought I'll share. So if someone has severe stomach pain, Buddhist philosophy is don't eat anything. Your stomach pain will go. Just don't eat. Starve. Mayavadi philosophy is eat, but eat only white rice, na? Okay. Vaishnava philosophy is you want to eat everything, first take medicine, cure yourself, and then come. Do it. Take little rice, but you can have variety, but just have your medicine. And what medicine are we all having now?
Chemicals.
Sorry, Prabhu.
Chemical.
No. What? That is true. But
Mahamantra.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The medicine we are using is Mahamantra. Come on, all of you together once again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. So that is the philosophy we follow, right? We believe in medicines and enjoying. So we believe in a variety. But whatever we do for Krishna. Will we wear nice dress? Yes, but we'll keep it before Krishna. We eat nice, yes, we will keep it as prasad and then eat. Will we do charity? Yes, right? But we won't give it, we'll give it to Krishna. Bringing science and spirituality together is a solution, right? So we have various things. Level 1 is study of matter, level 2 is study of living matter and life itself, right? In that, only level 3 is a new concept where you talk about physics and all that is level 4, it's gone advanced. But level 3 talks clearly matter in the because everything else, level 1 is only about matter, no life, right? Sunya. Second one talks about only life, there is no matter. That is also Sunya. Whereas 3 talks about matter with life. 4 is also matter, but independent of life. It doesn't work. Both work together. So, which you are going to see in Isha Upanishad also. Vidyam cha estadedo bayam saha avidyayam mrityum dhitva avidyayam mrityum ashnute. Hare Krishna means what? If you're uneducated, it's waste. If you're educated, it's great. But both material and spiritual, you should be equal because only then you'll be able to take it to the next level. So, about living system and non-living system, right? So, with this, we are going to a little more in conclusion. Without knowledge of soul, morality becomes meaningless because if you don't understand soul, you just don't know. I just told you, it's like you will be aimless, right? Without knowledge of God, we will become orphans. We become disintegrated. I told you all about the invisible thread story. So there is an invisible thread, and if we don't believe in the thread, then there is no connect. Without spiritual nourishment, we become overwhelmed by negative material tendencies. This is what happens. Anxiety, hatred, because we're not giving Krishna to the soul. The bliss and happiness has to happen at the soul. We're not doing that. It's like this, right? I have a skin disease. I have to treat from inside. I have to take a tablet inside. It is not enough if I just put makeup and cover my face because sooner or later it's going to come. That's what we're doing. We're using makeup, right? So if Manasvi, if I'm going to leave you in an island for 2 days alone, I'm giving you 2 choices. I will give you a beautiful TV to play or I'll give you my cat. What would you prefer? Cat Mataji and Prabhuji. What would you prefer?
Cat Mataji and Prabhuji because we are associated with Krishna consciousness. That's why.
Our Manasvi is very elevated. She's going to Krishna conscious. But even if assuming that the person is not, they need light because matter you can't stay for long. So I asked this in youth class. They told me once that we will have TV. I said, okay, fine. So what if it's 1 week? TV, 1 month? They started thinking. Okay, another 2 months. No. We need because we'll get bored of TV. So they know. Right, so they know that they can't sustain with that. So matter, cat also does the same thing. It will mew, it will sleep with you, it will sleep more than you. But the difference is we are living beings and we need to have connect with living. We can't have connect with matter. Religion, science is lame, and science without religion is fine. Albert Einstein only told this. Prabhupada has also repeated this one. So what is Prabhupada saying? Indian system is lame, man, right? American resourcefulness is like blind man, right? Very beautiful thing if you start thinking. But can together in a new era, right? They can really get a great name together, which is what I was telling. To be ignorant is bad. 1 second. And to be ignorant and to declare ignorance to be knowledge is worse. Avidya. Many of them tell, no, oh, this is only correct. You're a fool, but then you go and tell something ignorant thing as knowledge. To be ignorant and to declare ignorant to be knowledge and to declare knowledge to be ignorant is worse. So this reminds, the third one reminds me of my brother. So we were all there and I've told you this in my uncle's place. And he was telling that, oh, I don't want to read Bhagavad-Gita. That's a third category. You know why? Because if I read Bhagavad-Gita, I have to follow the rules. But if I don't read Bhagavad-Gita, I don't have to follow. So I was just telling, okay, fine. So you don't take a license and don't learn driving. So go to the road and you bang someone. Oh, I don't have license. I don't have the rule. Will the government let go of you? Yes or no? Yes or no?
No.
No.
Yes, because the duty is you have to know your road rule. If Manasvi drives, maybe they are small, they will spare her, but they will not spare her parents, right? They're going to bring them into custody. So the rule is very clear. If you are not following the Vedas, it means you're not doing your duty because you're supposed to know your Swadharma, which means you have to know your Sanatana Dharma of understanding what is Vedas in relation to family. So Radha Govinda temple, come, let's kindle the wisdom, love and pioneer. Okay, spiritual journey. Spirituality. Now, this is the 6 questions which are unanswered. I will take 5 more minutes. Please, each one of you will read because you'll understand this clearly. I can do without it for all those who see. 1 second, I'll mute because there's some disturbance. 1 second, I'll unmute. You can unmute yourself. I just muted. Please unmute and read. Hare Krishna.
Spirituality. I can do without it. Science and technology alone cannot solve the problems of the new millennium. We need additional guidance for our actions. These guidelines have to do with ethics, philosophy, and with faith. Richard R. Ernest, Nobel laureate. Science and technology may be able to give some answer about the mechanics of this universe, but they cannot give the deeper answers to life and cannot truly satisfy. Ultimately, science only talks about chemical reactions. It doesn't talk about happiness. Without a spiritual dimension, one will have to live without direction, purpose, meaning, true happiness, and love. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So beautiful, right? So beautiful. So I don't need to explain to you. So I can do without it. So you can understand the purpose is defeated. So the next person who says it's unscientific. Yes, please go ahead. So we'll see how much of science is there in spirituality. Please go ahead, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Spirituality.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, spirituality, that's unscientific. Spirituality is not just a bunch of emotions and fantasy. It is the reality of our existence. Physics lives inside it only. Jagdish Srivastava, eminent mathematician, research professor, Colorado State University. Most people see spirituality and religion as a set of dogmatic beliefs and rituals that the masses are told to follow without any understanding of it. This is certainly the case in many places. But does bad application of something make something bad? Actual spiritual and religious life is a higher dimensional science with authorized universities, professors, and textbooks. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. A typical concept of guru, when you're in level 1 and someone talks about guru, it applies to me too. You have a shock. Oh my God, guru. Because we've heard so much about fake gurus. And that is dominating us so much, right? And I remember, that when I was in college, so that was PG, right? So there used to be girls who used to ride bike or two-wheeler or car. But the moment they stop with an accident, they will stop driving, right? So I had a similar accident too, but I continued, of course, not immediately after that. So for me, it came naturally. It's not that I had any science behind it, but there was one Prabhu who actually told, when you get up and as a child, when you walk, you fall many times. Do you stop walking? You don't stop walking, right? So there can be so many times things which can go wrong. You can have accidents, you can have anything in life. You don't stop doing it. So what will you do? You'll try and fix your brake and do. Likewise, even when you talk about anything, right? You're talking about not just accidents. Here you're talking about, if something goes wrong, I will not continue that. It's a very wrong philosophy. So if you found a wrong guru, okay, let's assume that you went to a college and you failed. Will you tell that, oh my God, this college I failed and therefore I will never go to any college and I will not allow anyone to go to any college? Isn't that foolish? So not having a guru or someone lining up with the wrong guru or a lot of fake gurus, we have to identify. It's our foolishness, right? So we become more smarter to identify. My life is too fast for it. This is the best content. Please someone read it loud and clear.
Imagine you're on a journey to another city, you're driving very fast, but you don't know if you're going in the right direction. The intelligent thing to do is to pull over, take some time out, find your bearing, and then start moving again. So they're progressing in the right direction.
So we may have set many goals and aspirations in life, but the first thing we should do is pause, find out where we are going. It's like driving. You don't do mad driving because I don't have time, right? You do your GPS, you stop by if you know that you're in the direction or not. That's sensible. So likewise, my time is too fast. Just stop here. Then you know at least you're doing the right thing. Where's the fun in that, right? Where's the fun in that? So spirituality. Now, one of you all go ahead and read this, so we'll see what the fun is.
Spirituality, where is the fun in that? Spirituality is not self-abnegation, it is self-fulfillment. By practicing spirituality, one can achieve a higher quality of happiness, much deeper than any experience of material pleasure. A real spiritualist dances, sings, travels, works, jokes, and rejoices, all in relationship with God. And when we hear of God, we have some present notion of a bearded old man sitting on a throne, throwing people into the fire of eternal hell. But actually, God can be one's intimate friend. One can joke around with him. In fact, one can relate to God as their son or partner. that is possible. Sweet relationships with God. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I declared that the class will end last week. But today I see close to 50 of you all here. Even though we just announced about 2-3 hours today, all of you all are here. So why would you we've been having long classes, almost 5 months, right? But still you all want to come. Why? And you all are asking about level 3. And that's very precious time. Saturday, Sunday, 8 o'clock is your prime time, right? Why is it? Because your heart wants it. Your soul needs it, right? Your soul needs bliss. As I said, the bliss is the quality of the soul. So forget all of us, right? In India, I always tell 4 regulatory principles. I always tell 2. So what is the 2? Because we talk about 4. One is meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. Very unlikely to see gambling and illicit sex, not much. But what could possibly be there is meat eating or probably, intoxication. Intoxication, you will tell Mataji, alcohol we don't drink, yes, but coffee, tea, yes, right? So that's also a mild intoxicant. So these are the only 2 things which are possible, largely possible. So we park as one side. We've always had the belief of God. But if you take abroad, right? Prabhupada had been to US. We all know that he went there, and that too with hippies. So hippies never even bother about their own family, us or Krishna. So they never believed in God, or they never had a proper process. They had everything possible. They had meat was the only thing they ate. They were completely intoxicated. They were LSD, drugs, whatever you call, and illicit sex was like regular sex for them. It was like it's like how you eat, like that they made. And coming back to gambling, I mean, typically their lifestyles were so bad, right? They were into cards, gambling, fights, everything they did. So such people gave up all 4. And I still keep wondering how. I still don't understand what is it in them, but we saw, right? Param Dishwa Nivartite. So you have a higher goal. So someone asked me, I had this, I was not addicted anyways to coffee, tea. Coffee, I never liked tea. So someone asked me, I think this is Mr. Prabhu. In one of the classes, he was asking me, how do you think, Radhika, you can give up tea? And on a very serious note, I was telling in the beginning classes, right? Param Drishtva Nivartite is true, but unfortunately, still we are not elevated. So for giving up, what I did is every day I used to drink very nice badam milk, thick and cold, and in 5 days I drank, and 6th day when I tasted coffee, I felt tea, I felt because you experience that thickness, that fresh milk, that chillness, because Chennai is hot, but badam, that fresh taste, and you feel a lot of strength after that, because one is it's cold, second thing is badam has energy. Okay, and after that, so he started laughing. I still remember he was laughing. And then I realized, oh my, should I have told something better? Of course, I couldn't make it. I couldn't make up that kind of an answer. But what is meant there is Krishna, right? Krishna, they got Krishna, and that was higher. None of that mattered, right? So you always, of course, you can start off, but beyond the point, there are a lot of Matajis and Prabhujis who just give up like this. Who give up non-veg, coffee, tea, onion. How? Because they're experiencing a lot of bliss. Hare Krishna. The escapism. True escapism, that's escapism. It's the last thing. Hare Krishna.
Spirituality, that's escapism. A true spiritualist does not run away from the world. Rather, he actively lies in the world and fulfills all responsibilities, but in such a way that everything is guided towards the ultimate goal of life. By dint of receiving the highest education, which is Raja Vidya, he knows how to add God in every aspect of his life. Thus, he lives in the world without becoming entangled in the selfish intrigues of this world. His principle is, be in this world, but not of this world. A certain section may become spiritual teachers in order to guide society in the higher principles of life, but this does not mean that everyone who learns a subject becomes a teacher of that subject. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So clear conclusion. So escapism, there is no way we are talking about escapism. Did Arjuna wanted to run away? Did Krishna tell, very good, run away? Go think of me. No. He said nothing. You will not do anything. You will continue to live here and you will continue to stay and fight. So spirituality means not running away. Spirituality means staying there and fighting for the cause. Right? So this is a typical concept of spirituality, and the session is very long. It will take another 1 hour. So I'm not going to do this today. So maybe we can do it next week again. We can continue the second half of it. So why am I saying this is our most important part of spirituality? So sannyasi is running away does not happen. Here you will involve Krishna, right? Your eyes sees Krishna. Your ears listen to Kirtan. Your mouth chants Krishna. Your hands actually are used for cooking. Krishna Boha, you ate Krishna's food, you dress for Krishna, you look at Krishna. So everywhere you bring Krishna in the middle, right? So that's the beauty of of everything, right? So I just thought I will not end Science and Spirituality, still has a little more session, which is going to take time. So I just thought there are 200 slides. So there are another 100 slides. So I'm halfway through. So with this, I'll pause. Even if we don't complete, it's nice, but I thought you will enjoy this session because I enjoyed this. And when I presented to college, of course, I made it brief. They also enjoyed. So I thought you would feel the same. So Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Vancha kalpa darubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanan pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, come on, all of you, and then you can ask doubts. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Rama Hare Hare.
yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you so much. Attendance is there. Please mark attendance. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mangala Mataji. Wonderful presentation. Great session. We thoroughly enjoyed. I'm so happy you all enjoyed. I had a half mind. Did you all enjoy or not? But I thought, okay, I can relate. You all can relate to me. I can relate to you all. So I thought, yes, so we'll try this. So if you all enjoy, then I will bring this piece of information to you. Nandita's voice I hear on and off, but I'm not sure.
That wasn't me. I was on
sorry.
silent. It was somebody who unmuted.
Okay, so from everywhere, see, you're filled my mind so much. So.
But the voice was same as Nandita Mataji's.
No. I'm very careful with my mic. Sorry. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mohandas Prabhu. Thank you so much. Do you all have any other doubts which you all would like to clarify? Because this is a great forum. Well explained, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Manasvi. Oh, okay. We thoroughly enjoyed the session from Vijay Kumar Prabhu. Thank you so much. And Kirti Mataji, thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed you all reading. Manasvi, well explained, Mataji. Oh, thank you, Manasvi. I was a little doubtful because it's a little heavy, right? Science and all. Hare Krishna, excellent presentations. Prabhu, thank you. Kiran Mataji, Hare Krishna, Mataji, Hare Krishna. So, any other doubts you all have?
I do.
One thing, thanks to all the devotees for joining in short notice. Because today,
sorry, Prabhu?
No, I'm saying a big thanks to all the devotees.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for joining, for coming back. I started with the thanks. So, thank you so much for joining. We will connect again next week. I would reconfirm if it would be nice if we can all meet on the 3rd. So I have that. We'll meet on either Sunday or 3rd or try and do both.
How about tomorrow, Mataji? Tomorrow we
will not have a session. I'm taking off. So,
okay,
I also have to decide what to give.
Yes, Mataji, you need some break also.
No, not break. I actually don't know what. This is not a part of the itinerary. So it was a free day. So Namanishta Prabhu told you do anything. Whatever you all want, you all do. So I was just thinking I will present this. So in Tamil, they are presenting Chaitanya. So she said, can I go ahead and present? I said, you do an abbreviation. Don't finish the classes because the teachers have already been scheduled for. So how they are doing is they are doing 32 chapters. Each teacher or each admin will do one chapter. So they've been doing that. So last 4 chapters were pending. So I said, teachers have been assigned. So each one of us have a plan. So I just thought I will do this. I also thought next week, this will take 10 minutes. I had 2 things in my mind. I always wanted to share. There is something called the Pada Sevanam, right? So our understanding of Pada Sevanam is different. My understanding of Pada Sevanam initially used to be just going and praying. Okay, but it means more. It means going to holy places, understanding the Pada of the God. Tulasi worship comes under Pada Sevanam. Guru worship and praying the devotee is also Pada Sevanam. So much I didn't know initially. So Guru, parents, all of them come under Pada Sevanam. So I was also thinking, off the topic, the Pada of Krishna has a lot of marks, right? So I was just thinking if we can, or I can present, and I will also be nice if you all want to tell stories. Now I want to keep the floor open right now. We've been doing this in the morning session of my level 2, where I tell the devotees to, tell stories. Would you all like to share any story, realization, experience, whatever? Like to share. Looking forward for more sessions.
Mataji, I have a question. Can I ask you, please?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Mataji, in ISKCON, why is importance given to Isha Upanishad more? And also my second question is, in Bhagavad-Gita, we talk about spirit, like about the Atma and all those things, no, Mataji. Is there any other Hindu scripture which talks in detail about all those things?
Okay,
Any other Upanishad or any other this thing, Mataji?
I have not read still, but if you want to read, yes, please go ahead. Garuda Puran exclusively talks about Atma and punishment for Atma. One topic fully, that book. So Garuda talks about it. If you want to know.
In Bhagavatam also in some canto it talks about the punishments to
fifth chapter, fifth canto, last chapter talks about hellish planets. But that talks about 26th chapter, 28 hells only are spoken. But Garuda Puranam, the entire book is only punishment.
Okay.
So I had this, my daughter and daughter's friend who came and told, Auntie, can you tell me, what hell we will go? So I started reading more to really fit there. So I asked what mistake you all did. So my daughter told, I stole, okay, that was a thing. I stole eraser when I was in LKG. So then I realized that up to age of 5, you're excluded. So you can get away with that. And the other girl said, I copied. So it was not there in Bhagavatam when I read. So my mom was telling, maybe there are bigger punishments. I said, no, maybe the smaller ones are left in Garuda Puran. Of course, till age of 5, it's not counted, but I'm just saying. So Garuda Puran. But if you would like to know, you can go ahead with Garuda Puran. I'm not reading. 2-3 things are there. So we say, I mind my own business, right? So when I go in the road, even if they fight, I will not bother. I'm just minding my business. That is an error. So somebody is like really doing anyan, you just can't close your eyes and come. You have to go and question. Because of that punishment, your eyes goes off. That is why in yoga, your power, each one of us are with buddhi, specs. 0.5, 0.25, 0.1. Every time 0.25 power down, power cut. So that is why all of us wear buddhis. Hare Krishna.
About Isha Upanishad, Mataji, why is importance given to Isha Upanishad?
Okay,
because there are so many Upanishads which even in Bhagavad-Gita perfect our Guruji discusses. Bhaktivedanta Prabhuji discusses.
Okay.
But why Isha Upanishad is given special
So there
place?
are 108 Upanishads, right? So of that, what is so basically there's many Upanishads. Isha Upanishad, the importance is given because Isha Upanishad is the only Upanishad which, honestly speaking, Mataji, we can understand. What is very important is, please go to the Upanishad class, Isha Upanishad. I don't know shlokas. I'm just taking a live example of myself. I can't read shlokas. I don't know Sanskrit. But Isha Upanishad there's some magic in this. I can tell you that. You have to experience this because I can chant all the shlokas by heart. I didn't learn. It comes to you.
Wow.
Right? So it just comes. I have not only last shloka was difficult. I was asking, please tell me once. Why should I tell? Because I thought it would go in. And I didn't realize there was this, there was one Mataji who told me, I think try. So when I tried, it came. So why I'm telling you is, it's not about it's got nothing to do with my capacity at all here. Zero capacity I have in Sanskrit. 0 to the power of, not even 0, worse capacity I have in even memorizing. If someone tells me to memorize, I just can't memorize. So why I'm telling you is, so each Upanishad has that bonding. It can connect to you. You can relate to it. Mataji, I have not read other Upanishads, so I can't, honestly, I'm not qualified to draw a comparison. What I tell you is what I've read. And one time reading might be difficult. You might have to read twice or thrice. I'm not getting into that. Can get into your head. Right? It is so lively. Every bit of Isha Upanishad talks practically about people, about life. It's about what you should do. Because nectar of instruction is instruction. Do, don't do. It talks about what you should do, what you should not do. But Isha Upanishad is very beautiful. It tells that do and don't do in a very posh manner. This is what happens. If you don't do this, this is what happens. If you learn Vidya, fine. If you're not educated, it's bad. If you're educated, also it will be bad because you get too much hype. Therefore, what you should do, you should also be spiritually educated, materially. So it doesn't leave any loophole. It's like complete circle. That's why it starts with that, right? Om Purnamadaha Purnamada Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. We relish this. You can't relish my voice. I'm not telling that. But what I'm telling you is, you'll relish the content. Everything is whole. Whatever emanates is whole. Everything is complete. Right?
If you take out something from the complete, still it remains complete.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, Mataji. So everything will flash in your mind. Trust me, you'll enjoy the Isha Upanishad. That much I can.
But as a very strange thing, in the purports what we read in Bhagavad-Gita, more than Isha Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Chandopya Upanishad, Taitra Upanishad have been quoted. That is why I was very interested, because especially this place where the 2 parrots are eating, how beautifully it explains. I'm very interested, Mataji. Those
so,
things
Mataji,
very, very interesting.
Now only we are entering LKG, right? So we are now into UKG. So we will first do Isha Upanishad and then we will do. one after the other. So someone asked me, Mataji, why are we not teaching Chaitanya Charitamrita? Right? So I said, Chaitanya Charitamrita, very difficult, because I remember one of our teachers, she was telling that, you know, it is a PhD level. It's like PhD, genuinely PhD, right? And she was telling me, hey, you're underqualified for level 2. So now Mr. Prabhu told, no, forget it, she will do it. And then she came and told me, like, last month, you're overqualified for Chaitanya, which is not a fact, right? 0. It's so difficult because Chaitanya gets so technical, right? So why I'm telling you this is, Mataji, if you open the first day Chaitanya book, you read, trust me, we will all run away. So much of heavy philosophy. But if you are going to slowly progress, that's why I'm introducing you all to Srimad Bhagavatam. Please do that, right? Then you can think of heavy books. Isha Upanishad is not a self-study. Srimad Bhagavatam is self-study. Isha Upanishad, you might need explanation, because if it is self-study, it can mislead. You will perceive in your... Of course, Prabhupada has given it like mashed food for children. You mash and put in the mouth, you can swallow. That's how he's given it. But nevertheless, you need some teaching. So my suggestion is, hear Isha Upanishad, then you will tell me why you did not learn Isha Upanishad. That much
I still remember, Mataji, the Guru Dakshana. 100% I will read it, Mataji.
Thank you so much. That's Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, thank you so much. I'm so happy you're telling me.
Mataji.
Thanks a lot, Mataji.
Can you hear me, Mataji? I'm
Yes, I can.
Mataji.
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
We are not given a number of slokams to learn by heart, no? Some of
that is for level 4.
Oh, is it in Bhagavad-Gita slokams?
Bhagavad-Gita shlokas, level 4, Bhakti Shastri level. And by heart shlokas, I am told you all in the class. Right? So whenever there is... No, it's not mandatory, but I have told you, right? And we have revised also, right? I have told you all, like 10.8, 10.9, 10.10, 10.11. Matchitta, Matkarta, Pranam, all that when it comes, I immediately tell this is an important shloka. But you don't have to worry. First, get the concept.
But still, Mataji, if we are given a list of the slokams to learn by heart, so we can easily do that.
Yeah, I totally understand. But what I'm telling you is level 4 is when you have this compulsory learning by heart shlokas. But if you want to learn some shloka, every level 1 also we will publish one shloka. Please go back to your level 1 and read. One shloka in one chapter you can learn. First finish.
We were not, I don't think we were told.
Which batch were you, Mataji?
Maybe I did not listen to it properly.
No problem. Go back to the group and see. You will still have those things.
Oh, okay then.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. But anyway, Mataji, Krishna has given us enough diligence to see which is more important, etc. No?
Sure.
Okay,
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Lakshmi is message. Hi Lakshmi, how are you? What is the difference between science of self-discovery and science of self-discovery and science for self? Are you talking about the book? Lakshmi, you have to unmute and make it clear. So till then, I'll read the other questions. Narmada, looking forward for most sections. Yeah, I'm so happy to have you all back. Meenakshi, I was so divine to watch you again. Yes, very nice. I could also connect. One more, Param Dishwa Nivartite. I always tell how I hate teaching, but I enjoy talking to you all, right? So I think there is some power in Krishna's words and actions. Hema Mataji, I'm open to work with you upcoming batch if you like and timing works. Hema Mataji, please take down my number and message me 95000539. If you want to work with me, don't worry about time. 24 hours, anytime, whenever you are available, I can take it. So Nandita Mataji's mind voice, I can tell. And Mohandas Prabhu's mind voice is telling, Hema Mataji, don't message her. You know, you're going to be in a...
Oh, no. I'd like everybody to message and volunteer. I have tried and stressed on this, that everybody should volunteer. We are talking so much about devotional service. Please get started. It's time you all did.
Yeah. So, but
you will
Mataji,
enjoy
if you can
working.
help, a lot of presentations and other things. Yes, I'll be very happy you can connect. So thank you so much.
You'll enjoy working with Hema Mataji. I can feel.
Oh yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. See, Hema Mataji is already cautioning you. I'll enjoy. He is not told the other way around. So that's an indirect hint for you. So Sunil Kumar Prabhu, Hare Krishna Mataji, please share the video of death and life. I missed that video. It's in YouTube, Prabhu. So YouTube link, yeah, it's in YouTube. It's in the playlist they've updated. Oh, okay. Did I play? We did. Hare Krishna Mataji, can you please clarify on timeline of Kurukshetra? We did that. Kali Yuga started 5,000 years back, Prabhu. Totally 4.32 years, million years are there, of which 5,000 years are over. So 4.27 is still there. Kurukshetra. So I think I've addressed all. Any other questions? Any other topic? So next time when we meet, I think we'll do little more small portion of science and spirituality, little bit of what? We'll do a little bit of whatever. You all can tell stories. If anyone wants to tell a story, I would like to keep the forum open. Please go ahead.
Mataji, I would like to ask about the books, the difference between the science of self-realization and science of self-discovery. What are the difference between those two books?
You're talking about. Okay, this is a second chance book. Sorry, Mataji, I'll come back to you. I saw this. This is only that Ajamila story, right? Second chance.
No,
I'm not. But I'm just telling you, there is nothing called science of self. I think you're getting confused with the journey of self-discovery. Correct?
Yes, Mataji.
So this is a very tiny chapter, and this is from this is in the letter format from all the articles of Back to God and Maxim. There is this magazine by Prabhupada called Back to God and Maxim. And here it talks about these 7 important points which are taken. And the topics you yourself can see. I've just opened. Journey, super conscious, spiritual master, yoga, material problem. These are the things which are discussed here. Now, science and spirituality, right? This is just a book. This is a very good book. Science of self-realization is also 8 chapters, but here it talks about how do you choose your spiritual master, culture, background, Christianity, how it is. All this will come up. Practicing yoga, what is a cure? Science and this book is a little heavy. I have felt it a little heavy, Science of Self-Realization. But it's in a story form, not story form, it's in a, what should I say, conversation form. So it's like, initially, after that, it all goes that way. It's more like a format. But it's worth it. You should read it because it talks about various letters written by Prabhupada and things like, how did, what is the link between Christians and Krishna? All that is addressed there. Hare Krishna Mataji, attendance, Reshmi Mataji is telling.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Is there any other question? Anything else you would like to share? Your realizations, you all have any message? If there's nothing else, let the meeting and we'll meet again next week.
One more question, Mataji. What is the difference between reading the various Purans and Srimad Bhagavatam? What is the difference between reading the Purans and Srimad?
What is the difference between?
Reading Mahapurans, the different forms of Mahapurans like Agni Puran, Garuda Puran.
Purana, okay. There are basically, there are 18 Puranas broadly, right? First 6, middle 6 and the last 6. The first 6, address top 6, I will tell you, which you will understand. Talks Satvik Purana, which means that it will address the Satvika quality. They'll be able to understand and relate. Now the second middle one is for Rajasic. So these Puranas relate to stories, everything, not the stories, the philosophies, everything which the the Rajasic people will suit. And the idea of that is after finishing the 6, they will elevate themselves to the Sattvic. And the last 6 is about Tamasic. And the idea is not to stay there. It's like you gradually elevate, right? So on the first day, on the 18th day, if they had told us, you have to follow 4 regulatory principles, no meat eating, no, all the 4, especially no meat eating or no coffee, tea. Trust me, Mataji, many of us would have gone. I would have left first, right? Because I was a hardcore non-vegetarian, hardcore, right? So I had this yoga class, which we had organized in the bank. And the first thing I told is, you can teach yoga, but do not talk about food habits. Please do not talk. Mataji, I just strictly stick to only class yoga, physical. Okay? Okay. He kept quiet. He had no choice, right? So why I'm telling you is, this is called understanding, right? So you can't go, you will not be able to understand, you will not be able to relate. So that is why various levels are given at various things. In fact, Jesus Christ, when he came also, he told, I can talk, but your ears can't understand. He's made that statement. I mean, something like that. I don't know the exact words. He says that, right? I can go on talking. But so what is the capacity for you to hold besides these Puranas, right? So it is about teachings. Upanishads, so Upanishads are clearly rules. Upanishads are way of life, how you are supposed to live. So that's why I told you, broadly it's 1 out of 8 Upanishads. So Isha Upanishad is a very understandable Upanishad. So that's the thing.
And Srimad Bhagavatam,
so it is the Vedanta. Vedanta means what? Veda Anta, end of Vedas. So if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, everything is built into it. It is the end of Veda. Srimad Bhagavad-Gita has, how many shlokas does Bhagavad-Gita have?
700.
700, Mataji.
Superb. How many Srimad Bhagavatam has?
1800. 18,000.
18,000. So it has 18,000 shlokas. So it is a huge book. It started with like Chatur Shloka. Krishna never did Chatur Shloka. It was ever submitted only. Like the Chatur Shloka, Srimad Bhagavatam was also told by Brahma to Narada only 4 shlokas. It was only 4. But later it got developed as the teachings went on, and it landed with 18,000. So it is a story of this Bhagavad-Gita is story by Krishna, right? It's not story, whatever philosophy, love letter of Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is about Krishna. So that's the difference. So Srimad Bhagavatam is also written by Vyasa. It is a combination of everything. It will have love story, it will have politics, it will have fights, it will have everything built into it. It will have poor, it will have rich, it will have caste discrimination, it will have everything. Name it, you have it. Politics also you have, war also you have.
One can read Puranas as well as Srimad Bhagavatam. Is it okay to read both?
Sorry, Mataji, Srimad Bhagavatam and?
I said, I was saying, is it okay to read simultaneously that
Mataji, what Purana are you talking about?
Vishnu Purana or Markanda Purana or Garuda
My suggestion will be do one at a time, because anyway you're going to level 3, you have 3 books to read. So you will get totally, as I said, even Upanishads, when you do a mixture, it will be confusing. Right? So the best thing is follow the process. Srimad Bhagavatam is not timed out. You can read anytime, like your japa. Any place, anytime, like that you can do. But there are some Puranas have a restriction. You can't read here. You can't read at this time. Even Garuda Purana, I was told that you can't read in the house. So I don't know the details, but I'm just sharing with you. But Srimad Bhagavatam has no restriction. You can read any day, any time. It's Bhagavad. You have 2 Bhagavatas. One is the person who's speaking, like Narada, and the other one is the book form. So Vyasa is speaking the book form. Use that opportunity and get that knowledge. After you finish that, because Srimad Bhagavatam 1800,000 will give you clarity. And then you can think if at all you need any other book. Too many books reading also is not good, because it's going to confuse. Right? So that's why I start going higher. You see, in LKG or first standard, you read 12 books. But as you go to 11th, 12th, you are reduced. So as you go, your specialization increases, right? So now you should get into specialization. Srimad Bhagavatam is like specialization. You read that one book, perfect enough. Bhagavad-Gita, one book, Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyway, you have nectar of instruction and nectar of devotion and show. Your hands will be fully tied. So you can read, but I would, if I've not read. So personally, I would recommend please stick to this finish, then you can do another one. Parallel reading is good, but too many parallel reading will be confusing. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Mataji. Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Mataji, my question is repeatedly in these things is should be a non-vegetarian.
You're asking me or you're telling me?
No, I'm asking you that you should not eat meat and all the things. Okay? That is a very no. In what way it affects my spiritual journey? Why it is?
Prabhu,
why?
very simple, Prabhu. First of all, what is non-vegetarian? I have to share this joke. Okay, I am living in an apartment, and someone told me that this apartment originally was built on a graveyard. Okay, I don't know the truth. I'm not bothered either. So, one of my cousin was telling, hey, don't worry, every one of us have a graveyard in our stomach, right? While he told ironically, but the fact is that, right? So what is stomach? If you keep eating all non-veg, so why not non-veg? So basically, the very fundamental concept of spirituality is about compassion. And non-vegetarian is not about the kind of food. It's about the kind of process, right? So what are you doing? You're killing a life. Is killing a life at any point in time justified? Forget about veg or non-veg. And since you're in level 3, I'm asking you all straight. And I would want non-vegetarians, ex-non-vegetarians to talk. And Prabhu, I will do good. You have taken this. I will do this presentation next week on vegetarianism. Why you should be a vegetarian. How physically also it helps. Because Prabhu, first and foremost, killing a life is bad. Yes or no?
Yes, Mata. Yes, Mataji.
I can kill a human being, Prabhu, so I can eat you?
No.
Prabhu, you just said yes.
No.
Prabhu, in Korea, they have this habit of eating the, the fetus. It's very expensive, 3 months fetus before it's born. Because they say fetus doesn't have life. Is it right or wrong?
I cannot say, Mataji.
So you're okay with eating a fetus, Prabhu, if they come and give it to you?
No.
Why, Prabhu?
No.
Why, Prabhu?
I cannot say.
exactly, because we do not have, we've been trained. Prabhu, I understand your point because I can relate so much to you because I was a non-vegetarian.
No, Mataji, my question is very simple, Mataji. Because just now you told that we are killing some life.
Yes.
And just now in this presentation, we learned that plants also have the life. And now eating that plant food is also killing something life. That is
Very
what.
nice. Very nice. So what happens if you see, Prabhu, in case of the plants, we don't destroy. We largely take, I know you're coming to the greens, but 90% of the time, the consciousness is very important. The consciousness of the animal is more developed than a plant. So the plant does not feel so much pain. One. Second thing is it wrong? Yes, it is wrong, but we have to survive. So we normally take only the vegetable fruit, which is a part of it. We don't destroy the plant. If you see, that's why I love Jain philosophy. They don't eat anything including roots because they feel it destroys the plant, right? There are situations when we may have to do something. For example, COVID is a virus. We will have to eat medicine because it has to, and we will kill the virus, right? It's like self-defense. Someone comes to kill me, I'm still okay, right? Even from the law point of view, I can kill the person. I will be punished. I will be inquired, but I will not be penalized. Likewise, is about killing. Killing an animal is an offense, even otherwise, right? Because you're killing life. Plant, yes, it is an offense, but you need something to survive. Therefore, you are doing a lower karma. And that is why to avoid the sin, you are giving to Krishna first. Patram, Pushpam, Payam, Toyam. Correct? So that is why, is it a sin? Yes. That is why, is eating vegetable allowed? Yes, it is sanctioned. But you want it sanctified. We don't want to be veg or non-vegetarian. We want to be Krishnatarian. So we give that food to Krishna and eat. Otherwise, we will become Hitler. Hitler is a pure vegetarian. But will you like to be like Hitler? No. And monkey is a vegetarian, but still it's in mode of ignorance. But we give the food to Krishna and then we eat so that it becomes prasad and we get sanctified. So I hope I've answered both your questions.
Yes, Mataji, but actually in throughout the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna never told that don't eat meat, but he has given only three kinds of foods. That is sattvic, rajasic and sattvic. But in that, he has categorized the food as three, but in that he has not mentioned this non-veg.
Prabhu, in Bhagavad-Gita, I would like to share one thing that in Quran, he is not mentioned non-veg, right? Otherwise he would have mentioned. You can give me this one. Second thing is in Quran, there was a explicit mention that a person should not have a physical relationship with the sister or the mother. Bhagavad-Gita is not mentioning that. So does it mean a person can go and have a relationship illicitly with his own mother or his sister, Prabhu?
No.
Why, Prabhu? It's not mentioned in Bhagavad-Gita.
No, because he has already mentioned about the food. In that he has not mentioned this thing. That is what I am asking.
Illicit relationship is also mentioned, Prabhu, Bhagavad-Gita. It says, right? It's many clearly tells. So it is not mentioned. Food alone you like, so you're focusing there. But it is why I'm telling you, I'll address this. This is very similar to the question which the previous Mataji asked about Puranas. Right? I told you the 6 Puranas on the top are Sattvic. So Bhagavad-Gita is more related to Sattvic, which is why Vishnu is in the mode of goodness, addresses people also in the mode of goodness. It's Sattvic. Right? So now whatever this particular thing is not mentioned in Bhagavad Gita does not mean in Bhagavad Gita it is allowed to go in relationship with your mother or sister, because people who read that by default know. You go to any person, Hindu, go and ask him, I would like to marry your sister, he'll tell, are you crazy? Right? That will be the first reaction from the person. Because that in the wildest dream, nobody will even think. Nobody will even think. Likewise with the mother. Even if he is drunk to the core, he will be able to differentiate his mother from the girl outside. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? So this is what I've heard. So I'm not drunk, so I don't know, but I'm assuming this is what I've told. I've heard from people who are drunk. So this is the story. So it is not mentioned. So what is not mentioned in Bhagavad Gita doesn't mean we can do. It is because Bhagavad Gita positions for higher set of people. So it means that it is understood. And Krishna very clearly tells, my menu card is this, and you want to become my devotee, give the food, get sanctified. So when many of them have this problem with Pitra Puja, many of them tell that my grandfather likes drinks, my grandfather likes mutton, chicken, whatever. But the fact is, you are going to give that because you are giving it to Vishnu to satisfy Vishnu, so that he will give credits to your parents or grandparents or great-grandparents. Please liberate them from sins. So end of the day, Prabhu, Paramatma is in your heart. Right? Same Paramatma is in their heart of agreed with the plant or be it an animal. But you have no choice, so you have a situation. So even if you're stuck in a forest where there's absolutely no choice, you only have to survive and it's life and death, then you still can eat non-veg. It's allowed. For Kshatriyas also they allow. That's how it came. Right? But when you have option, you should not hold on. So that's a point.
No, that is okay. That's absolutely it is correct. But I would like to understand why it is. It makes me tamasic or it makes me something like that. Any reasons like that?
Yes, there is a long reason. Since you brought this topic, please wait. Next week I will do that presentation.
Sure, Mataji.
How will non-veg have an impact in everybody's life, and how is
yes. That is my question.
Next week I will do that presentation. Now plan changed, so we will do vegetarian. Nandita Mataji and Mohandas Prabhu, please remind me. Otherwise, I'll come to the class and talk something and go off.
Sure. Go further with onion and garlic also, because that's
onion and garlic. Yeah, it's not non-vegetarian, but it will increase your tamasic quality. Already we are very high on tamasic. Demonic quality is very high for us.
Yes.
Just to bring that down, we are avoiding. Why not coffee tea? Because coffee tea has caffeine and it is an intoxicant.
What about mushrooms? We're not allowed to eat mushroom, right?
Yes.
Mushroom also same, Mataji. Kirti, the mushroom is also tamasic.
Chocolates as well. Chocolates as well, right?
So that's provided it has caffeine. Yes. Anything which has caffeine. And mushroom is what? It's fungi, whatever you call it. If you Google mushroom, you'll know what it is actually.
Even some kinds of cheeses.
Some kinds of cheeses. I don't have the list, but yes. Right. So Hare
Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes.
I mean, just to add to one of the Prabhujis, just to mention, I took up the 11-1 in 18 course begin with Suhas Prabhuji. That was in last year in July. And the level
Mataji, after this you can share. You wanted to share something? Yes, you can. Yes, Prabhu. It's okay, Prabhu. Level 1 certificate, even if it's not there, it'll be fine.
No, just to mention a few things about non-veg, because level 1 I was a hardcore non-vegetarian too.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So I began my journey 18-day course with thanks to Suhas Prabhuji in July, and in August it was level 2 with Subudhi Damodar Das Prabhuji.
Amazing teacher.
I have quit since last August actually. So a lot of changes in the body that happens once you quit. And it's good that way because you realize that, and they do all this fasting of Ekadashi. It definitely helps in that way. So it all comes down to self-realization, whether you want to eat it or not eat it. And what happens if you eat it, that was well explained in level 1 and level 2. So it comes down to what you feel like, yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I think I will do this presentation on it. Never had a chance to do that next week. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
But it feels great after quitting non-veg. That's definitely, I would say, yeah.
I didn't realize so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much for sharing. But what I realized is I felt more or less guilty. I could tell that.
Yes.
Yeah. So I never thought of it when I was a non-vegetarian. But after giving up non-veg, I feel so peaceful.
Yes, very true.
Yeah.
But the only thing is I cook chicken for my pet dog. So I have to. There's no choice there. So
Prabhu, that's okay, Prabhu. You know what is that called? That's called, I have to tell you this. It's called Buddha Yagna.
Okay.
Supposed to, seriously, I'm not making up. It is there very much in Shastras.
Okay.
So, there are certain processes which we have to follow, like, the Pancharatra, Buddhi and all that. In that, below that, or rather one category is called Bhuta Yagna. One set.
Right, okay.
You take care of your pet, comes under Bhuta Yagna.
Oh, nice, okay.
Responsibility, just like how you take care of a dependent. Like if you have a child, you take care of the child. So
yes, Mataji.
Take care of your dependent also. And in that dependent, everything comes. Your pets, your cow, whatever, the category of pet. So don't tell me lion and pet. Obviously, lion and pet.
Right.
Whatever comes under, because it's dependent on you. So that Buddha Yagna.
Thank you.
Not the Buddha. So you're doing Yagna, Prabhu. You're doing Yagna.
Thank you. Thanks, Mataji.
Yeah. So I told my daughter this. She said, wow, can I tell everyone? I said, go ahead and tell everyone. No problem.
Okay. Nice. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So Prabhu, I just wanted to share, since you have a pet, right? There was one incident which happened, right? I was running the test for level 2. I think many of y'all who were a part of that. So I used to do question paper. I've not told this to y'all, but now I can. I used to do question paper. So I never used to have time because you used to come in the last moment. So I used to make paper, and I won't be able to chant in the morning at 4 because I used to do the paper because 6 o'clock used to be the class. So I have a cat, and this cat used to bring my chanting bag. First, I didn't realize, but then I understood, morning schedule is changed. So just come and drop it right before the laptop or here. So there were two set of devotees. So one set of a devotee who told me, senior devotees, of course, that, hey, I hope the cat did not keep it in the mouth. So I said, you have to check with the cat because I was not noticing the cat.
Okay.
Right? But common sense prevails. How else do you expect the cat to do? You can't wear a backpack and come, right? So it's very obvious. So I didn't tell that. There was another devotee who told me one thing. He said, do you feed the cats prasad? I thought, please do. Because don't miss an opportunity. Of course, you don't have to give food or sweet because it may be harmful. But you can also tirtham, what do you call charadna, mrita, the water, right? Or we wash that glass, that water we can pour because it's very good, right? You can give. So maybe Prabhu, if you have not done, I really liked it and I learned from that. And as per sannyasi rule, they don't touch a dog. They don't touch an animal. It's considered. But I think Mahaprabhu hugged the puppy. And the name of the puppy is Mukunda. And everyone told him, you're not a Brahmana, of course, he's from a Brahmin family, right? So you're a sannyasi and you're hugging. And that dog also is taken a liberation. So when you go to Goloka, maybe you can meet Mukunda, the dog, over there.
Oh, nice. Mukunda, nice name.
Yeah, name is Mukunda. Hare Krishna.
Oh. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Yes, Hema, please go ahead. Hema Mataji, please share.
I don't know, it will be related to the what Prabhuji got has a question, but I thought maybe it's gonna helpful. So I was listening to Australia, one of the guru, and he said in his journey that he first time came to the ISKCON temple and somebody was giving lecture that follow your life based on the principle and pleasure, like 2 P you have to remember. So for your pleasure, you don't harm any animals, and he was eating the cow meat. And he also mentioned in that lecture that if you eat a cow meat, you may have to take a birth as a cow for however many hairs on the cow. So that many births you have to live as a cow, and somebody may kill you that many times. So that made his heart transferred so much that he became a disciple. And he's a great guru now in the Australia, one of the temple. And relate to what the other guru did just saying about that after quit eating meat, gives you peace. And you also mentioned, because I think when they go to the slaughterhouse, they have a fear, anxiety, all those things, all feelings are in that meat when you consume. So that's why your self-confidence, and it affects everything, I believe so. So that's, right. I even also heard from somebody else.
Right. And second thing is, mamsam means that mamsam means me, you can eat. That is what it means. So you're telling in the ears, mamsam means that, hey, I'm eating you now, next time you can eat, we'll swap roles. So that's a spiritual side. Scientific side, thank you so much, Hema Mataji, for sharing. It's so perfect what she said. If you eat meat, time of death, irrespective of whether it's halal, whatever, the moment it comes, it realizes, oh my God, I trusted you so much. I trusted you so much, and now you're going to kill me. That kind of a feeling which creates a lot of enzyme secretion, which is very harmful. And end of the day, do we really need to have that happiness by killing an animal? That's a choice which you can make, right? That's a choice. And I did tell you about the serial killer once story, which a commissioner had shared, right? So that's the similar story. Maybe I'll tell the story again next week if you all have not heard. So end of the day is, what is your priority? Is your priority enjoying and relishing a dead body and killing it? If it is yes, you should be a non-vegetarian. If you feel some part of your heart tells you not to do, don't. So that's the point. Hare Krishna. So thank you so much, and Hare Krishna. I will see you all back next week, Sunday. Right? Saturday or Sunday, I'll confirm. So I should be back on Friday or Saturday. So I'll connect either that day or the next day. So please look out for messages from Nandita. I will also have Sri Lakshmi to address the.
For this level 2, we are meeting on 2nd May, Mataji, am I correct?
2nd is
for
morning class. Morning
level
class.
3.
No, level 2, final.
No, Prabhu, we will have morning class. We have not completed 18th chapter. We will meet as usual on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
No, that is on 2nd.
Over and above that, yes. What I am telling you is level 1 class, the level 2 class for the morning batch of mine. That will continue on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because we have not completed the 18th chapter as yet. So I'm addressing just not them. This is a special invite for you all, because there is this 18. I finished one batch, I told you, right? The evening devotees. So this is a program for them. I thought you all should not miss it. So I asked you all to join.
Yes, very good opportunity, Mataji. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Mataji, can I speak, Mataji, please?
Yes, please go ahead.
Mataji, I just now tried to fill up Google form for L3. It's not accepted.
Mataji, you might have to write. Very good. Mataji, why don't you write to them? It's a good point.
Yeah, I'll have to write. That's what I was.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead and write. So
without L1, it's not accepted.
Perfect.
And I had submitted L2 and all other details.
Sure.
Okay, Mataji. Then I tried doing the quiz myself once again, L1 quiz. That also I don't have any access. It says you don't
L1
have
will not
access
have.
to it.
Yeah. No problem, Mataji. Please mention that also.
Then I think I'll have to write the mail.
Yes. Wherever you have a challenge, please write the mail.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Okay, Nandita Mataji, are you there? You can hear me, of course.
She can hear, but she doesn't want to hear. There's too many such newses.
Oh, yes, I know.
Nandita is very nice, but there's someone assigned for this. So that's why Nandita has shared the email ID. So that's nice if you can write to the person so that they will resolve it.
Yeah, she has provided me email ID of Namanishta Das Prabhuji.
Sure.
So I'll write.
Thank you so much.
Mataji, Mataji, we would like to see that Choti devotee, Mataji.
Manasvi.
Manasvi, just switch on the video. And
Manasvi, they want to see your beautiful face. She's always keeping the video on. Today's class, she felt bored, so she switched off.
Oh, very nice. Good, Manasvi. God bless you.
So sweet, Manasvi.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Very nice, very nice. We are inspired by your voice, your
They are from morning batch, Manasvi. They are from my morning batch. I told them that you are a very special devotee, that you give so much of respect. Even a cat, you will call only Mataji and Prabhuji. I think who remembers, and he is called. Right?
Okay. Very
so
nice.
Like, absolute. You ask her which mode you are, she will answer you, Prabhu. Ask her which mode are you in.
Which mode are you, Manasvi?
Prabhuji, I am in now Shuddha Sattva Guna, as I am waking up in the morning and doing everything like Sattva Guna and in Krishna consciousness also.
Oh my God, you are already reached to Sattva Guna.
Hari Bol.
Suddha Sattva. Yeah, Hari Bol.
Suddha Sattva, yes, Suddha Sattva, yes. Very nice, very nice. We are all
Prabhu,
inspired.
most probably by the time we all come to level 4, she may become a teacher for level 4 also. Prabhu.
Yes, yes, we wish, we wish.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. All of you, thank you so much, Manasvi. And so we'll end the meeting here. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All of you, Hare
Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Manasvi. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.